I know. It's been 20 days. I didn't disappear, I didn't retire, and I definitely didn't turn off to join a rock band. I've just been working on some lots, and I mean lots of commissioned artworks. And today we are going live, not just to catch up, but we are going live just to show a little shading process. The shading technique to shade faster, shade smoother, and definitely, in fact, we are just talking shading this time, as usual. So buckle up, grab your pencils, grab your popcorn, and let's get to it. And before I forget, this is Sam Samuel from the Legendary Art. Here at Sam Legendary Art, we help beginners skip some beginner mistakes. So if you are new here, do not forget to like and subscribe. You can drop a comment to mark attendance. And yeah, let's get started. So right now, I'm currently on the hair. I'm currently on the hair. So yeah, let's get it done. So quick one. Here is the reference photo I'm working on. It's a couple photo. It's actually separate photos, but I had to combine them together with my skills. But let's get to it though. Oh gosh. I hope this life is like visible. I hope this life is it's not private. I really, really hope it's not a private life. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the soft charcoal pencil to go over for the second layer. To go over for the second layer just like so. Welcome to the live, guys. If you are just joining, you can double tap on your screen to support the live. This is Sam from the Legendary Arts, and we help beginners keep beginner mistakes and learn how to draw really fast. You get. So the other part of the hair is like gray or white, or what do I call it? Let's just call it whitish. So I'm gonna leave it blank like so. And I'm gonna use a charcoal. Sorry, I'm gonna use a brush. This is a charcoal pencil. I fixed it on what we call a pencil holder. In case the pencil has become shorter, we use it to support the pencil so that I can continue using it instead of trashing it. You get? So let me use my brush to blend this charcoal pencil, just like so. We don't want some harsh lines being visible on the artwork. It's been a while on this channel, and I really wish on my next upload, my viewers will still come back to watch my videos. It's been about 20 to 25 days now since I last uploaded the content. Please double tap on your screen. Thank you. Now after this, I'm gonna add the highlights of the hair. The highlights makes it to pop and make it look a little bit more realistic. So let's add the highlights. Now instead of using the mono zero eraser, I like to use a soft white charcoal pencil. I've learned over the years that this makes it look more realistic. So I prefer using a white pencil to add the hair, to add the highlights on the hair instead of a mono zero eraser. Because the mono zero eraser removes while the white pencil adds. So that's it. And by the way, don't mind my accent. I'm a Nigerian, and this is how we sound. So that's it for that part. Let's shade the other part. Blend it like so. Actually, the fun part of this process is actually the face, like the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So I can't wait to get there. If you have been watching our videos, you already know by now that I love drawing the eyes. So I can't wait to get there. A quick tip while drawing, I always like to start shading from top to bottom. I always like to start shading from the top so that I won't get it dirty, and also to have a sense of organization so that I'll always know what to shade next. You know. Now let's draw the eyes. And to do that, as you can see, I've already outlined with a charcoal pencil. So right now I'm gonna use my blending stump to smoothen it out. Can I zoom in? Yes. I'm gonna use my blending stump to soften the outlines so that it's gonna have a smooth edge. It's gonna have smooth edges instead of some sharp outlines, just like so. Let me use the tiny. Thank you, Aiden. Thanks for the compliments. Let me use the tiny blending stone to do this because the outlines are kind of tiny. So after blending the outlines, you can also still use the blending storm to add some shadings around the eyes. It's gonna serve as the base layer. add some shadings, just like so. Good. Now we are gonna go over with, guess what? What are we gonna use next? Okay, we are gonna go over with the small brush. Like I used to say on my videos, whenever you are shading the small areas like the eyes, the nose, you're gonna need to use your small brush to shade those areas to avoid messing things up. Wide areas, wide brush, and small brush for small areas. That's the pro tip 001 or 101. What's it called? So we are adding the second base, the second layer, like this. I'm gonna shade around the eyes, the cheeks, the, what's it called, the brows, and so on. I'm not gonna use the small brush forever. Once I'm done with those tiny areas, I'm gonna have to switch up to my medium-sized brush. And this is it, my medium-sized brush. Bro, you are literally so good at drawing. Keep doing this. Maybe you have one. Damn. Thank you very much, my friend. In Nigeria, um, I don't know about art museums in Nigeria, especially in the southeast, eastern part of Nigeria. But maybe one day when I travel out, because I'm not planning to stay here forever. So having an art gallery is one of my dreams, and also an art school, one of my biggest dreams. We are gonna get there by the grace. So I'm using the medium-sized brush to shade the bigger parts of the eyes. Don't forget, we are still gonna add the details of the eyes. We are still gonna darken some parts like the pupil and all that. And we are still gonna add some highlights using the white pen and the electric eraser. And that's the fun part of it. I don't know. Here is the full look of the drawing. She might be one of your teachers, but she's from Nigeria, but she's not in Nigeria. I bet everyone has someone that looks like this in their neighborhood. I think I should add the details to make these eyes look more realistic, just for the show. So let's do it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is using my soft charcoal pencil again to darken those dark areas that are fading away, just like so. And the eyelashes, if they are visible though. Thanks, man. Do you watch my long form videos? Let's bring out. Let's bring out these fading details. Oh boy, look at that. And it doesn't end here. So let's blend it a bit so it blends with the shadings. Okay, okay. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is to add that shiny glint in the pupil. And to do that, I'm gonna be using this. It's called the highlight pen. So let's do it. Oh, wait. Um, I think we ran out of ink, but this can do. After, we use the electric eraser to add some sharp highlights around the upper eyelids and the lower one too. But I'm not just drawing the highlights, I'm using the dotting technique to add the highlights. That way, it gives us the illusion of skin pores. Let's also add the one below. Oh and you have to use a tiny one or a pointy one to do this instead of this particular one that I'm using. But I'll get around it. After, we use the mono zero eraser to add the softer highlights around the sharper ones. And we do this to blend the sharp highlights so it doesn't end up looking like some stickers or just like that. We are still gonna blend these though. So let's blend some stuffs around here. Some stuffs are not meant to be here. Some highlights are not supposed to be here, as seen on the reference photo. So I just blended it. Now I'm gonna shade here before drawing the, what's it called? The eyebrows. So let's shade with the medium brush. I'm using what we call the circular motion to shade this part or any part I'm actually shading. This helps us to keep it smooth and gradient wise, if that makes sense. I'm being careful because there are some highlights around here and I don't want to shade over them. Now let's add the depth that goes around here as seen on the reference photo. That's quite it. Okay, let's draw the eyebrows. And it's quite light here, so I'm not gonna go too dark. The eyebrows kind of looks artistic on the reference photo, not some regular. And I just added the eyebrows. Let's add a light blending to it. Now, at this point, a lot of beginners are just gonna leave this the way it is. But no, we are adding details to the skin. And to do that, I'm gonna be using my medium charcoal pencil to add some dots or circles or spikes, whatever. to give what we call skin pores, and this has to be very light because it's also light on the reference photo. And that, my friend, is what we call details. I'm gonna blend it with the brush very lightly, tapping it off. Then I'm gonna use, let's blend it a little bit more. We don't want it to be so visible. Then I'm gonna use the mono zero eraser to add highlights around the details. Hmm. And just like that, we are done with this part. I'm gonna go ahead and draw the other eye, I think. And just like we did on the other eye, we started by blending with a blending stump. We started by smoothing out the outlines, just like so. And after that, we still add some shadings with the blending stump, which serves as a base layer. Now, how cool is this? You don't need to stress in order to draw a realistic eye. You just need the right process. The right process, yeah. Just adding small shadings around it. Ooh, this is I love this. Now that's light shadows that shows around here. We are gonna add it right away with the same blending stone. And after this, you already know what's coming next. The brush. And to do that, we introduce the small brush. As usual, tiny places like this, always shade with the small brush first before thinking of using any other brush. I'm also shading over the scraller. You don't want it to be too white. Shading over it actually makes it to look more realistic. You know the square light, like the white part of the eye. So that's quite it. You're shading, adding details, adding depths, and trying to make it look more realistic. Just like so. And after that, it's time for the medium sized brush. And to do that, I dab my medium sized brush on the charcoal powder and go over it to smoothen things out and reduce some patchy effects. Let's zoom out a bit.